All right, I'm gonna start.
I did this because I was looking at the lowest point of the. Because you guys.
So if you're watching this video, I don't think you're looking at me because I'm too short.
No, you didn't make it.
You're just looking at the screen. This morning I posted a study guide. I think you guys saw it. The study guide kind of goes through the things that I think you should know about. And it should be in addition to the list of topics that we covered in class. Okay? And that I think covers all the material that I wanted to post, or that I think it's appropriate to post. This is a review session, just like the midterm review session, where I didn't bring anything. So if you would like to ask me questions, I am very happy to answer those questions. And if not, I will just leave. So why don't we get started? Yes, Derek.
Question on the multiple choice of last year's final.
Okay.
Can you do that one, please? It was the one I talked about, like the.
You have to tell me the question. Is that one of the ones that I posted or no?
It was last year's final. It talked about like
That's
where.
not the one I posted, so you have to tell me which question it is.
Oh, okay. I don't have a hard copy with me,
Okay.
but it talked about like where a monopoly will price,
Okay.
and it talked about what it'll price in like the elastic, inelastic, unit elastic, or all of the above.
If the what?
Where it will price based on like elasticity.
Oh, the price, where the price will be?
Yeah.
That would come from the, okay, so this is a question about,
I think it's number 9. Yeah.
does anybody have it?
Yeah. A single price monopolist with you want the.
A single price monopolist with a positive marginal cost and facing a linear demand function will maximize profit by producing where demand is price elastic, demand is price inelastic, demand is unit elastic. Where would that? Yours?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so question 9. So the key thing here to remember is the following. Should I zoom in a little bit? A gigantic screen is on now. All right. The question is, where will the monopolist produce? And if you don't know how to tackle that question, then this is not an easy question, first of all, but what you want to think about is draw the problem facing the monopolist. So he faces a demand curve that is downward sloping and it's a straight line. So the marginal cost curve is going to be, not the marginal cost, but the marginal revenue curve is going to also be a linear line, a line that will be double the slope. Okay, more negative, twice as negative slope, and it will look like this, right? And if you recall, this point here, where it crosses the axis, is going to be the point that is the midpoint in the demand curve. It's a midpoint. Right? So the midpoint also happens to be, when you have a linear demand curve, that also happens to be the point where the demand is unit elastic. Right? Recall that from the notes. Now, that's one of those things that would be helpful. Let me show you. This is the notes from from the first part of the course. Did you go? Second. Oh. Have it. Right. So, if you look on the bottom of this curve, of the notes, this is week lecture 7. We have a demand curve that was linear. the midpoint is unit elastic. Above, the demand is elastic, and below, the demand is inelastic. Okay? So that's where, this is where when I say like review the first part or know the first part of the course, this is kind of like a nugget of information that you can retain from that in that exam. I want you to retain from the first part of the course. Kind of use it, apply it to the second part of the course. So with this information then, right? So with this information then, you can say that obviously this is the marginal revenue curve, and the firm who has a positive marginal cost, right? Is it constant or just positive? The question, just positive. Okay, so it can be anything, but you know, whatever it might be, the marginal cost curve, the point where the firm is going to choose, where the monopolist is going to choose output, is going to be the point where the marginal cost intercepts the marginal revenue, and that point is going to be to the left, okay? Which is the point where demand is elastic. Okay? It's never going to be in the part where it's to the right, because to the right, or when the part where the demand is inelastic, at that point, raising prices raises revenue, right? And so you should be raising prices by reducing quantity. Okay, so it makes sense to think of this as the monopolist will always choose an output that is elastic. Now, the one exception is the part of output where the demand is going to be elastic. The one exception is if the marginal cost is exactly equal to 0. Then if the marginal cost is exactly equal to 0, then, you know, you are going to choose marginal cost 0 equals to marginal revenue, which is this point here, which is the midpoint, right? And that is the point where the monopolist is maximizing profits, but in fact, maximizing total revenue. Okay. Is that clear? No? So this is a good example of the kind of problem where it looks like, what is this? So you draw. It's like, okay, I'm talking about a monopolist. I'm asking about the choice of output. So let me draw the monopoly problem on the side of the paper. And you draw this. And then hopefully at that point you will see with any marginal cost that you any marginal cost curve that you draw, that you will end up to the left of the point that is unit elastic. Yes?
Could you describe again, like when it's inelastic, what happens sort of with prices and revenue?
Sure. Okay. So this is again, this is thinking from the demand side, right? So total expenditure, which is the same as total revenue, okay, from the consumer's point of view. The consumer's point of view, that's expenditure. From the producer point of view, this is revenue, right? So it's, if you produce Q units of output, the price is P, then total expenditures or total revenue to the firms is price times quantity. Okay? Now, what happens if the price of the good goes up? Okay, you can see that you start from a price P0, where there is a quantity Q0, and then you raise the price P1. Now, in this example, I'm doing it, I'm talking about a situation where I start to the left of the midpoint. Okay? What you can see is that now, price goes to P1, quantity goes from Q0 to Q1. Okay? And so the new total expenditure is this area A plus B. The old total expenditure was area B plus C. And you can see, therefore, that the difference in the expenditure is the following. By moving the price to P1, you gain A. This is the amount of expenditures that of the units that are actually purchased. These are the amount of additional expenditures. But you also lose unit C, so amount C. Amount C is the total expenditures that were spent when you were purchasing Q0, but now you're not buying Q0 units, you're buying less units. So this is the total expenditure that essentially the amount that doesn't get spent. And here you can see that the area A is much smaller than area C. Okay? All of this to demonstrate that when you're in the part of the demand curve that is elastic, when you raise the price, total expenditures decline. If from the point of view of the monopolist, you raise the price, total revenues fall. Here is the other situation where you're to the right. When you're to the right to the demand, what you have is that you go from P0 to P1, you lose quantity, you go from Q0 to Q1. Same quantities as before. I didn't really change much the magnitudes of either the price increase or the quantity change. But what's happening? Well, area A now, the gain in total expenditure due to the increase in the price is much larger than area C, which is the loss. Which means that when you raise the price, consumers are spending more on the product than they were before. In other words, the monopolist is making more money than before. So the lesson for the monopolist is don't go in this area, because if you choose a quantity that is in this area, you could always earn more revenue by increasing the price and reducing output.